And it's a pleasure to be here today and to talk about something that I really enjoy talking about, recently at least. This is blockchains. Now, let me start by asking you, and may I ask you for your hands, who would say is familiar with blockchain technology? Okay, that's about a quarter of the audience. So I hope I can give you an explanation on what blockchains are. This is an attempt, and I try to do this slightly different than probably some of the other perspectives that are around on blockchains. We have April 2017. It's impossible not to notice all the hype and the discussion going on around blockchains. And so let me introduce a bit, why is there such an interest in blockchain? Is this actually justified? And given that we are a cloud research and services research community, let me take a perspective on what we've studied so far over the past decades and years, which is transaction processing from a database and distributed systems perspective, including the cloud perspective, and how blockchains will then actually relate to that. Okay? All right, so a study by IBM end of last year among 200 banks or so basically concluded that around 15% of those banks are already on their way to fully offering commercial blockchain products in the course of 2017 of this year. And I alluded to this in the panel earlier, the adoption rate of blockchain technology, and we'll clarify in a minute what blockchain technology is much, much faster than what we've seen in the past with other technologies like the cloud computing, for example. Also interesting, again, in the financial sector, is a recent study by Accenture published earlier this year, basically states that blockchain could save investment banks, the global investment banks are really meant here, with up to 12 billion a year in infrastructure costs. So blockchain, as we'll hear in a minute, is really a tamper-proof, permanent, immutable record of data. Given that you have such a record, such a immutable record, that obviously, in particular in the financial industry, changes the game completely for auditing processes, for finance reporting, and so forth. And with that, enormous cost savings are being associated along those lines. Nevertheless, it's not related or it's not restricted to the finance industry. In fact, blockchain is a technology that has gained interest across a number of industry verticals. And it applies really to any application where there's some form of trade going on and where some form of tracking of some digital asset is really of interest. And of course, in some cases, it may be actually a physical good, a physical asset, and we didn't need a digital correspondent part to it, but the opportunities are immense.